Can you imagine? Can you just imagine if I end up being here in my 13th year? Just let that sink in for a hot minute. Can you imagine if I end up staying in this dump in my 13th year? Because right now, we're approaching August. Today is the last day of July. Then it's August. And then my official 13th year starts on September 4th. Because that's the exact date that I started this dump way back in 2012. You know, I remember just this first year alone, being in this dump and working with Rico. I remember I had to go through a lot of growing pains. I even talked about it in my blog yesterday about, you know, how it was like working with him, and, you know, the fact that he disciplined me, you know, to becoming the, a fully experienced worker in a, what a lot of people like to say is a real job. But at least a lot of what he criticized me for, it was for me to be more motivated and to fuel me to becoming a better worker, and as well as being a graphic designer. So I remember that Rico taught me a whole lot of graphic design. Now I know that there was a couple of times when he actually compared working with me to working with Claire, because obviously Claire, and she was a classmate of mine in one of my art classes. I think it was the art history class, something like that, art 300 class. Yeah, because I remember she was my classmate in that class, and she is a more experienced graphic designer than I am. So when her and Rico worked together, then, you know, they were just pretty much equal. They it was all smooth. Like, you know, they have about the same amount of experience. I don't know, Rico might just have a whole ton more, but, you know, as far as like working together, they have pretty much the, you know, equal knowledge and knowing how to, you know, to apply and, you know, just apply graphic design based on what we all learned in school. Now with me, when I came in after she left and I replaced her, Rico had to end up becoming the lead. And I remember when I got hired, you know, I was told by Rico that from the vice president, hey, you know, can you mentor this guy? Because had that been just me, and Rico's not working there, if it's just me trying to get the job on my own, I probably would have gotten rejected with the portfolio that I had then. Because obviously, I'll have to admit it, it was just, I want to say mediocre, but it was just semi, it's just semi good, or I don't know, it's just, you know, average. I'll just keep it at that, average. I had an average portfolio, you know, and luckily I just got this job through Rico. So yeah, as soon as we started working together, yes, I know he taught me a whole lot of graphic design, this and that. And like I said, it was a lot of growing pains, but at least I needed it. So at least this way, like, you know, I already know what I know, because I didn't learn a lot of this when we were in Cal State Fullerton, just taking graphic design classes. You know, I didn't know very much about InDesign until he taught me like pretty much all the fundamentals, and some of it was self-taught. You know, so here's the thing, like, I think just that first year alone, like, yeah, I know that there were many instances where he got frustrated at me and all that, and I get it. Like, you know, I was still going through the grind of like learning how to be a better coworker and a better graphic designer at the time. So at that time, this dump was an actual workplace. And, you know, with Rico, like, you know, getting all that frustration. I remember that one time that I hung out with Julio and Robbie at Robbie's old place in Anaheim, and, you know, I remember that day, you know, when I had work, it was on a weekday, and then I remember Rico got super frustrated because I took too long on a flyer, and he ended up taking over. I think it was like a Lexmark promo flyer, and you know, he ended up finishing it, and he had me to submit to Mr. Lee. I know he was frustrated, And then, you know, at that time, I just didn't know how to be a coworker yet. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I ended up submitting it, and it was still like I was still in the learning process. So Rico's had me do some of his work, and even a special project that I'm just not getting any more opportunities out of, other than doing these fucking birthday projects that if I was to be paid 17.75 an hour on my 12th year, why having to do all this stuff, so many of these for Anna, why can't I just be paid at least 20 an hour? Anyways, before I get into the bigger topic of this, yeah. So I remember when I was hanging out with Robbie and Julio in Robbie's old place, I called Rico, and he was saying that, yeah, he said that he went to go to the gym to work out so he can take off his frustration from me. And I remember, I totally remember that. I'm not going to forget what he said when we had this conversation, because he got frustrated at me that I took too long in the flyer and this and that. And so it was just part of the process. Obviously I was struggling with working with InDesign at the time, but I had a lot of those from Rico. He's had a lot of frustrations with me and working with me. I get it. But, he was pushing me to become a better graphic designer during our entire time that, we worked together. So, yeah, being the lead that he is, he got me through. And, at that time, this dump was a normal workplace. So I had a lot of people as a normal employee capacity. And, he disciplined me to where, despite all his frustrations with me, that I had already become, just to become a better a coworker, a worker in a real workplace, and even to a certain extent a better graphic designer. Now that I already know, like, how to do certain projects, not projects, but like duties. So that was just about as notable of my time as I can get, and being in this dump as far as his first year is concerned. So when I got, like, that was when I learned to separate work and home, and outside of work and home, just knowing, like, whatever happens at work, it stays at work. I know when Rico gets frustrated at me, or got frustrated at me of what I do at work, it was all just work, right? And so, that like, when I was in that dump, whatever happens there and people get mad at me for whatever happens, it all stays at work. It was all work related stuff. But fast forward till now, this is my 12th year here. And with nothing just happening anymore, and I'm getting no more learning opportunities, dude, like the what people got mad at me about in my first few years being in this dump was all work related. Now it's all like, they got people mad at me, even my own friends, for other things. It's not work related anymore. Well, what is there for me to work on anymore, other than the same old shit that I do for the company president? I just said his name earlier. I'm just gonna say company president. Look how far it's gotten me, in my 12th year here. Look how far my life has gotten me to where I've been lasting here for as long as I've been here. Going to my 12th year, going to my 13th year. What worse can things get for me now? Dude, the group text incident just happened last Friday. And now, like, even prior to that, there was a first group text incident. I got a lot of friends that are just mad at me for a lot of stuff. And a lot of ex-close friends just left me. Like Angelique, Krista, Christine. I'm sorry to sound like a broken record. But, when I reconnected with all these guys earlier in June, I thought all would be good despite me being on beast mode. And then the second group text incident happened. I'm going to say this. It's because I'm still in this dump. It's because I'm still in this dump. Just knowing what I had to go through. The vibes suck here. I'm doing nothing more than half the time. It's super quiet. A lot of times I don't get people saying good morning to me. I have to say good morning to them so they can say good morning too. Armando's one of those people. And it's not just him. So many other people. Just look how far my life has gotten. It's gotten way more downhill because of the fact that I'm still in this dump. I'm sorry if I had to yell, man. It's been a rough week for me. It's been so rough since that second group text incident. I can't help but to think about what's happening this weekend. And what if Robbie and Julio don't go anymore? I just texted Robbie for him to call me. Finally. He's probably at work right now, so maybe he'll have to call me like when he gets off. I don't know what time he gets off. I really want to work things out. But even if both of them still go, along with the Boston Ray, after that weekend, I'm sticking to my solo group plan. Period. I don't want to talk to no one anymore. If I have to block my entire friend circle again, then I will. Why not? I think it's just best for me. I told Russ to not talk to me no more. That's not because I don't like him no more. I just think it's just best for me to gain my own peace. Away from my friend circle after what I did. You know? What Julio said, and nobody has responded to that text, and nobody has responded to what he said to this very day from last Saturday when Julio said, everyone is fed up with me. Well, it turns out it's still true what he said, because he just basically clarified what I said in April when I admitted I was a failure of a friend. That's why I don't deserve any more friends at this point because of what I did to make them get pissed off at me the last couple of years. I lost so many people. Last year, I lost so many people. You know, I hope I don't get a heart attack over this, man. Because I'm at that point where as long as I'm in this dump, I come in, the vibes just suck. I'm doing nothing more than half the time. I'm just job hunting. And, you know, I just expect more and more bad things to happen to me. Even I'm going in my unlucky 13th year. You know, 13 is usually like a bad number. You know, like Friday the 13th, right? I'm just getting worked up, man. You know, hell, I've been worked up in a lot of these videos that I put out this week. So many of them. When just the last few weeks, I had dropped different content that was not necessarily the Nutbwallers. And now this whole week has just been basically about the Nutbwallers because of what happened on Friday. Or when Robbie said that he's not going to go anymore, my heart started to sink, man. I have to get this off my chest. I just can't help it no more, dude. I just don't feel like I ever belong in this dump. The only time I really ever belonged was the first few years. And heck, even my first year. I don't even feel like I'm in the workplace no more, dude. I'm just keeping it real. I already even told Mari. The best friend I ever had, the best of all my other best friends. My number one friend. Just look at this ex-close friend memorial wall. Look at a lot of these people that I lost. Rhea, Krista, Pearl Jane, Alyssa. You know, Miss Crazy. Joy, who literally passed away in 2021 just before the normal life came back. I mean, I'm going to say this once more, dude. You know, I can have some days where I'm smiling, this and that, but that does not mean I'm going to have a better life, even for as long as I'm still working this dump. There's no way I'm ever going to feel happy about, you know, myself as a person. I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to feel any more joy until I get out of this dump. Regardless of what the weather is. Very sunny, very rainy, very overcast, whatever. Until I get the hell out of this dump, I'm still going to feel miserable and unhappy as hell. There's just no two ways about it. I'm just getting sick of it being on here. And the longer I'm here, it's just the more bad things happen to me, the more criticisms I get. From guys like Angelique, guys like Krista, Christine, Lovely Mel, when she said she wanted to end her friendship with me last year. From guys like Andrew, Tristan, and now just recently, Julio and Robbie. I'm clearly failed my life. I failed my social life. I failed my professional life too. Just for the fact that I'm still in this dump, man. I mean, what am I doing here still? I can only imagine just going to my 13th year and it's already the bird season. Just a lot more the same. The people here just don't ever make me feel like I belong. How much more worked out do I have to be? You know, that's it, man. I think after this weekend, I think I'm going to do this again. I'm sorry. Carlos is not going to see this video. If he sees it and he gets mad, I don't give a fuck what he thinks. I'm going to have to put everyone on hold again. I don't care. If I have to miss out on some birthdays, like Dewey's, like Neil's, like Julio's, like Abbas's, like Robbie's, like Carlos's, so be it. I need to work on myself. It's not that I don't want to celebrate their birthdays. I want to. But I need to work on myself because these guys are all fed up with me. They don't trust me no more. You know what I'm saying? God damn, dude. I don't know. I don't know what else to do at this point. Then they're just being here and just job hunting. Nothing ever feels like a workplace in this dump anymore. It's like what Lisa always said. It's not a real workplace. It's not. So you just look at all of these pictures that I have on this post. Everything that's just related to what I've done to my entire social life. You know? Look at all these friends that I lost. I hate to lose a few more. I just can't take it, dude. I can't. It's just too much drama in my life. And the drama is nothing work-related. It's outside of work. It is just more and more and more and more and more drama. That's it. Like what happened last Friday. So I got to do myself a favor because I know I'm going to be going to my 13th year. And that being said, you know, I better just block my entire circle again. I'm saying it out loud now. I'm going to block my entire circle. It's not because I'm disrespecting all my friends, but it's because I want them to realize that I'm working on myself. That I need to better myself. Because what Julio said last Saturday, he was just spot on. Russ don't gotta say nothing. Nobody's saying anything. So I'm gonna perceive that as they all agree with him. So I'm gonna make this clear. I don't care anymore. I need to get out of here, period. Or else things are gonna get worse. And I don't want to end up having I don't want to end up having a heart attack over something like this. I've been worked up on a lot of these videos, man. It should have never come to that. This week I've had a lot of videos where I've been heated about this issue. And why I doubled down as a failure of a friend. It's just ridiculous, man. I can't take it no more. So after this weekend, I'm gonna block my entire friend circle so they realize so they can see that I'm trying to continue to work on myself. I don't care what Carlos thinks, man. Let him feel what he feels. If he wants to leave me because of that, so be it. I've known a lot of these friends for a long time, dude. But it's coming to a point where like some of them are just have their own lives now. They don't want to deal with me at this point. So I gotta keep doing what I'm doing. God damn, dude. God damn it. I'm done, man. I'm done, dude. I don't want to get to a point where I'm just going to become emotional because I'm just facing nothing but drama. If I was in a new workplace, I would never feel any of this kind of drama. But it's just nothing but drama for as long as I'm still working here, and that's that. I mean, it's just a lot. It's just nothing but a lot of bullshit here in this dump. Nothing ever feels like it's a professional workplace, man. Like Lisa always alluded to it. It's not a real workplace. I have nothing more to say, man. The longer I'm here, the more BS I'm going to encounter, especially in the birth season. That's why I need to get out of here ASAP, and I got to continue job hunting. Because there's nothing else I can do but to job hunt. And that's all I've been doing, because I'm doing nothing else in this dump anymore. And I feel totally disrespected, totally unappreciated. And now even a lot of my friends are looking at me so differently that they don't even trust me no more. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So I'm through, dude. I'm through. I need to be by myself after this weekend. I need to. Period. If some of them respect my decision, have at it. Cool. If some don't, too bad. I'm not prioritizing friends anymore at this point. It's all about me. Period. I'm gone, man. I'm just done. I'm done. Hate my life, but I'm done. I need to get out of this dump so I can live my life again.